Hey, what's going on, Victorious Army? How y'all doing? How y'all doing today? All right, I came on today because I feel like I got something important to say, so I'm gonna say it. Anyway, right, today is Father's Day, right? If you know or don't know, right, or don't care, right? That's one too, right? But right, today is Father's Day. And it means a lot. It's just, in general for the world, right? What I'm trying to say, right? Because the times are changing, right? The seasons are changing. It's pretty much we about to walk right into summer. It's about to be real hot this summer. So many different things are going on. Energies are changing, right? So it's really a starting point for a lot of things. And as well as it's supposed to be the day for those particular people that should be in your life, right? Your father, right? And so I'm on here making this video because I wanted to speak to personally those who didn't really get to have a great father in their lives, those who didn't really have that man figure, or that supposed person that was supposed to be your father only wanted to trash you and break you down as mine did, right? Wanted to tell me I wasn't shit, wanted to just be mean and spiteful and call me a whole bunch of names and make me strip down butt ass naked and beat me with a 2x4, sexually abuse me, right? I mean, for me, right, it was just the worst of the worst. I didn't really get me a father, right? And I wanted to share the fact that, you know, before my spiritual awakening, really, I never really was very, I guess, sad when I saw other children with their fathers, you know, because I just didn't think about it. But then afterward, right, still at first though, it didn't really bother me, but then I started to, kind of feel a certain way about it, you know. But one thing I brought with myself is like, well, I choose to think that my father is too much of a bitch to actually be a father, you know. I choose to think of it as he would rather hurt me and harm me rather than be the father that I would have needed for a world like this, right? And the fact that honestly, right, I'm just so tired of being sad, right? I'm so tired of having all of these very fucked up situations or issues for me in my life, right? That I'm like, you know what? Maybe I didn't get a father, but I'm glad, that kid did, you know? Because I personally hated how I felt about this shit and how, when it came to the father, it would just, at first it was just kind of just over my head until I really started to become more awakened. And then I realized that, I didn't really get that, did I? I didn't really get that father that would have been great. But me, since I'm just fucking tired of the whole thing, right? I'm just tired of being so, what feels like handicapped or having such a lack of, right? Given this situation, that I'm just like, you know what? I'm happy that kid does have a father. And at least from the looks of it, right? Because looks can be deceiving. But from the looks of it, right? It seems like that kid is having a great time with his father, and that man is a great father, right? So, I wanted to come on here and speak today on this just because those who had the shittiest end of the stick for the whole father category, right? As far as your physical father, right? Not talking about your heavenly father or the son that's the father, right? So many things with father, man. It's no wonder. It's no wonder it has so much trouble with the word father. But for all those who got the shittier end of the stick for the father, right? Whose father wasn't there, whose father didn't give a shit, whose father rather kick their ass, whose father rather, tell them all of this crap and just be spitefully mean just cuz, right? At least that's how mine was, right? I'm just saying. I don't know if I'm the only one, right? But I'm just wanted to say this and speak to y'all because you don't need to feel like that, right? You don't need to feel mad at all these other kids who got fathers because you didn't. You don't need to feel like that because, truthfully, that father that should have been your father, right? If you went through all the very negatives and the shittiest end of the stick with this supposed father, they were just too much of a piece of shit. I'm saying this now because I, for the longest while, couldn't figure it out, right? I, for the longest while, was mad. But they were too much of pussy-ass pieces of shit to raise you. They were too scared. They were too afraid to truly be a father, right? Because mine put up the anger show real good, right? Oh, say you in my feet, take that beef out, like all this other shit that he wanted to go through, right? But truth of the matter was, he was too scared to actually try and raise me, right? He was too scared to really be a man, right? So don't feel bad because you didn't get that father, right? Your father chose to do what he did, right? Just like for me, my father chose to sexually abuse me, tell me I ain't shit, make me strip down butt ass naked, beat me with a 2x4, beat me relentlessly with the belt, all this other shit, because he had problems with himself, right? He was just an angry ass man for himself, right? And now I choose to look at my position for what all happened to me as far as, and stay on topic, right? With my father. I choose to sit here and think that I'm gonna stand up even taller because of this, right? I'm gonna stand up even more so because I didn't need that piece of shit, right? I didn't need that type of man figure in my life, clearly, right? Because he wasn't good enough, right? I look at it as the father that I got, just wasn't good enough to be a father for me, right? Truth be told, he didn't think so either, right? Because that's why he did what he did. But, right, choose to think about it like, look at it as for like a future goal for, I guess, whenever you're ready to be a father. Because I'm not, not for a while, not for a long while, but for when I do become a father, right? That's how I want to be with my child, right? For when I'm ready for that endeavor, I want to sit there and look at it like, that's how I want my children to play with me, right? That's how I want my children to look at me. I want to see smiles on my children's faces, right? When they look at me as their father. Because I also realize when you choose to just be happy about it, right? Figure out how to look at things in a way that makes you more happy, you just feel so much better, right? So it's great to truly feel better. And nah, I ain't really gonna be a father here anytime soon, I'll be honest. So I got some work for me to do, but just for when I see it, right? When I would think about the shitty times I had with my supposed father, right? Just think about the other fathers and children that you've seen and be like, that's how I want my child to look at me, right? When I'm ready for that whole thing. That's how it probably should be for me. And right now it's a little hard for me to kind of speak about this, right? Because I still feel a certain way, but I choose to go with how I truly feel with it, instead of just, wanting to get up here and be like, oh, fuck fathers and fuck them niggas and they ain't shit, right? Because truth be told, I only look at that specifically for mine, right? But truth be told, right, for all the fathers that are out there and that are decent fathers, right, I'm grateful to see that, right? At least as one who didn't get the chance to get one. But I ain't about to become no father anytime soon. But choose to see the greater perspective with it. Right? Because I just feel like now, after so much more, I guess, shadow work, right, internal esoteric type of stuff, right, the more that I start to look inwardly for me and realize that I'm tired of being mad, because that's all he ever was to me, for mine, right? He was only mad and angry, right? Always mad at something. Don't know what it was, but I knew he was mad because I got my ass kicked that day, right? But, right, I'm tired of just sitting here holding all this anger. For what? I'm not even an angry person, really. And for me to sit there and hold this anger and, I guess, like initially, right? Initially, I hated my father, right? Initially, I did. Because how dare he do this to me and this, and that, right? And then the more I thought about it, it's like, I'm over here angry, walking around, not really doing nothing, just over here stewing in my mind because I'm mad at him. And that's all he was doing when he was here, right? Glad his ass ain't here anymore. Shit, but right? I mean, it's just far as, in my life. I think he's still alive. Like I said, I don't really care anymore. But right? That's one thing I chose for myself. I refused to become him. Because he wasn't even a good father, like I've been saying throughout this video, but he just didn't even seem like a good person, right? You just, right, always angry, always yelling about something, right? And I think, right, if I keep staying here hating him or, doing that whole thing where you push so hard to not be like him or be like that person, you just become them by default, right? And I realized that I don't want to be anything like him, anything like any of that, right? So I chose to forgive him, right? Not for him. Frankly, I don't give a shit about him, to be honest, but not for him, but for me, right? I forgive him for all the shit that he did to me because I see and I know now that he wasn't good enough to be a father. He wasn't good enough to be a man, or at least not a man that I would have needed to go and journey on through my life. And, I forgive him for that because that takes that energy and that shit out of my chest, right? Out of my aura, out of my energy. So I no longer have to hold that, right? Because truth be told, his actions, right, and some of his words truly told me who he was. That's how I have to look at it, right? The fact that he would sit there and do all of these different things when, he didn't have to, right? He didn't need to. It just shows his character and who he actually is, right? So there's no even reason to be mad at him, right? I'll be a little bit more honest here. It's like, for a while back when I was more angry and I was stirring a bit more, and all of these, had all these different types of thoughts, right? I thought about it, and to me, it's like I thought about killing him, right? But the more I thought about it, it's like he's not even worth it. He's not even. He's just a bum. He's just a bum ass nigga. He's not even worth it, right? To sit there and take myself out of my happiness and my life path to go and end him, right? It wouldn't really bring me sorrow, but at the same time, it's like it wouldn't even be worth it, right? I'm just being honest, because these are the thoughts I've had because of the shit that he put me through, because the same type of shit had happened to him, and he chose to sit there and harm me, even though I had nothing to do with it. So that just shows you what type of person he is. But, like I said, I forgive him because I get to feel better, right? Because if anyone needs to feel better, it's me after all this, right? So I choose to feel better. Right? So that's why it's easy for me to just let his shit go. It's easy for me to sit there and watch children play with their fathers, right? Or I guess if they're on the playground, or like, I don't know, just walking out of stores, something where I see a father and son, right? So it's easy for me now. Because now I see it as, when I get older, right, that's the type of goal I want to have for that type of idea, right? Or for that type of situation. But, it's just difficult, right? So that's what I'm saying, to all those who may be in a similar position to me, hold your head up high, right? That man wasn't worth it to raise you, right? He was not worth it. Because he showed you how he was, how he acted, right? Regardless of what he may have said. And then sometimes, even because of what he said, right? Just shows you who he is, right? I'm tired of stewing over it, right? I'm tired of having to sit here and suffer because he was on some bullshit, right? So now I have to walk around here mad all the time because he wanted to be a bitch? Nah. But I think another thing I'm mad about, right, is the fact that he came in here and he screwed up my mother too, right? It's technically, right, I know there's a Father's Day and a Mother's Day, but you can't necessarily separate the father and the mother, right? Not necessarily. So, I mean, so I'm gonna talk about this little piece here though, but so, right, he hurt my mother, right? Along with kicking the shit out of me, right? And, another kind of crappier, shitty part about it is, right, is that this man that I used to hate, right, this man who beat the shit out of me, right, this man who told me I wasn't shit and he sexually abused me, right, this man who cheated on my mother for what it was, right, who hurt her heart so much so, right, who did all these terrible things, right, and now I look just like him, right, because my mother loved that man so much that this is what I look like, right, this is who I am. And it just ain't it a bitch that, because I look like him, sometimes my mother may see him instead of me, right? So that now I'm still getting fucked up, right? And it's like he's gone, but his shit is still here, right? Right? Because sometimes my mom gets angry at me, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't because of what Austin did, right? But it was because of what that jackass Charles Kennedy did, right? You know, that one in particular, not all Charles Kennedys, right? Right? Just disclaimer. But right, just him. And now I still got to deal with certain things, right? But the best thing that I've come across to do, right, is if I can help it, right? Yeah, I just avoid her. It's sad, but it's true, right? If I do my best to avoid her, right? Do my best to just keep things as clean as possible, right? Try to just keep things in a better perspective around the house to truthfully do my best to just kind of avoid it, right? Avoid it or stop this type of thing from happening. But then sometimes, you just can't, right? And here she come. Oh yeah, she pissed off, right? And now I gotta deal with this shit too, right? Crazy ass mother. You know, I still love my mother, I do, but it's like it just sucks, having to deal with some shit like this. But to all those who also going through it too, there is ways to make it better. This is why I'm saying this. Right? There are ways to make things better, but the greatest thing I learned overall with all of this is just that you have to choose to overcome it yourself. Have that thought at least saying like, I'm not going to sit here and let this shit fuck with me because of, just all the pains my father caused me and my mother, right? I ain't letting this shit overcome me. I'm not letting her crazy stirs get the better of me either. I just ain't. Fuck that, right? But I feel like I guess this is about long enough. This says I think I said about what I wanted to say, but yeah. So I guess just to wrap it up, like I said, right? All you can do is change your perspective to look at it in better ways. Look at it from a way where for a fact that you're in the right, and what had happened, in a balanced way, right? Look at it as maybe something even better is going to happen for me and, for my mother, right? Just for what it is, right? Stay strong, stay positive, look forward to this summer and the future, right? And lead yourself to your greatest victory. Alright, y'all. Peace.